Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today. Brian Nadeau and Samantha Perry with you here on another beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Fountain of Youth Week kicks off here with a 9-race card. You can see a fast main track. We are off the turf. There were heavy rains in, we'll call it the Fort Lauderdale, South Florida kind of area in the last couple days. So we'll start off the turf today, but it is a nice day at a fast main track.
Yeah, it really is, in a fantastic way to kick off Fountain of Youth Week. Of course, we'll get into that a little bit more in the lightning round, but as far as the rainbow goes, that's starting to grow. And big news here, Sunday, it is a mandatory payout. Yeah,
we've already got $221 in the carryover. $400,000 is in the estimate today. A little late joining you this morning after a couple late scratches that we'll run through, and of course Pete will as well. And the early pick 5 is going to kick off in about 53 minutes with the 12:50 post today. We'll take a look at my ticket now. It's a $40 play. Had to rework that with the scratches and the off the turf stuff. There's two huge favorites in the opening leg. I'll go with the 1, not a dime back. We'll get to it in a second. Race 7 is what we were kind of reworking here a little bit late this morning. The top pick now is the 10 in that off the turfer. You can see a single for me in race number 3, and that is the 4 Iron Sword, my best bet of the day, and then a 5x4 double to get out of the sequence. In race 5, I am on the 4. In race 4, I'm on the 5, and that is Great Shashi. And in race number 5, another one that's off the turf, though I did leave this intact. We'll go to the 7 Added Touch on a $40 early pick 5 ticket. We'll see what's going on here in the opener, mile and a 16th on a main track. I don't see that too often. 12-5 maiden claimers, 4-year-olds and up. No changes other than the 7 Iron Tap is a first-time gelding. So take note of that. The 8 Iron Tap is a first-time gelding. I'm not going to call it a match race, but boy, you've got 2 horses that are going to be huge favorites to me, and you'll go with one of them. That's Fredericksburg.
Yeah, at least Fredericksburg has 2 races under his belt. It's the George Weaver barn. We can talk about the 1 in a minute, but I just feel like Fredericksburg, at least with the 2-turn race experience, this horse might be a bit more fit as opposed to the 1.
I'm going to try the main track for the first time, as is the 1, not a dime back, who came out of the Tucson race, and that was a very fast maiden special weight, not a dime back at 77-1, basically breaks dead last, kind of sort of there off you lose, and did pass a few horses. Tucson came back to win, doubled up the other day. Clearly he likes Tapeta. And this horse has worked big and worked well since then. Let's take a look at a stat too for Jason Service.
Yeah, this is John Service.
John Service, excuse me.
And this is maiden special weight to maiden claiming the last 5 years on the dirt. 23%. Look at that in the money rate as well. 58%. So this horse is going to be there. I'm just not sure if it's going to be in the winner's circle or not.
And to be perfectly honest with you, we don't know if this horse can run at all, because you debut at 77-1. Now you're all the way at the bottom, and he got beaten up pretty good that day. He had a big figure because
it was a fast race.
It was a fast race, right? You'll try to split him with the 4 Praiseworthy. You can't not play Praiseworthy, huh?
No, I can't. Look, this horse, if one thing, he's trying a mile and a 16th for the first time.
Sure.
Yeah.
0 for 26. Now, Iron Tap's a first-time gelding. That's probably a big deal.
Yeah.
But boy, has he been bad his last couple.
Yeah, he hasn't shown any semblance of wanting to be a racehorse at all, so we'll see.
None whatsoever. Race number 2 is now off the turf. We're at a mile and a 16th. On the Tapeta. It's a $25,000 claimer, 4 and up, which have never won 3 or a race since August the 26th. Scratch the 2, Causing Mayhem. The 6, Husband Material. The 8, The Mar, was a late one. The 11, Jerry's Turn. He's not coming back. And the 14, Kerouac, is out. It's going to allow the 13 and 15 to draw in. They will race. Tyler Gaffalione on the 3. Jesus Rios on the 15. That's all I can tell you. Pete will tell you more. And Samantha's got an early pick 4 ticket.
Yeah, I do. And we'll take a quick look at it here. I don't have a single in this sequence. We'll get into this race in a moment. Race number 3. I lost my top pick in my long shot play, so I scratched into the 4 Iron Sword. Race 4, I've got the 3 on top. That's Dixie Escape. And in race number 5, the 3 on top, Super Amusing, and what is a big spread race for me in the now off the grass event, Brian.
All right, let's get back to this one now. A lot of bobbing and weaving here, at least for me. I did rearrange things. We'll start with you on the 7, and that is Vladislav, one of the horses that does have some solid Tapeta form.
Yeah, he really does, and so I'm happy to see him back across it again. His last victory was actually on the Tapeta. Now, that was back in July of last year, so read into that what you will, but he's faced a lot tougher competition as of late, and I think now on the Tapeta, this is a cozy spot for
And
him.
I think he showed some signs of life last
Right.
time, too, which I think is very, very important. Clear vision. I did leave him on top.
Okay.
I think he's the best horse. He's never run on Tapeta, but, boy, he's got to get a lot out of that return, which was off a, 13-month layoff.
Yeah, it was, and so now you expect a more fit horse today. As far as the Tapeta surface goes, we don't know, but this is a good post position, and you get IRAD.
Another one of your horses with some solid Tapeta form is the 9 Battle of Dover.
Yeah, I think this horse moves up a lot, especially when you look at the Tapeta form that he's got now.
I think it's significant that they want to run the 13, Maker and Dub, so you got to use him. And Lights of Broadway is a big move up, too, because he is not a turf horse.
Yep.
He is a Tapeta horse, so I think you better take note of him, too.
Yep, I think you're right about that. I'm not going to use him because I don't know. He is a good horse, but the Pete Walder barn has just been so cold to me lately that it's hard to play this barn.
And he's no win machine either. Let's just be perfectly honest about that. Race number 3 will go 5.5 on the Tapeta. It's a 12-5 maiden claimer. These are just the 3-year-olds going at it. We've got a scratch of the 2 Tempo Ride, I guess your long shot. And my best bet of the day, Iron Sword, is going to add blinkers. That's the 4 who you scratch into. Let's show the race. He had to run very, very hard in the interior of this race on debut for 35. Predictably, right here, he's going to tire, and you kind of could figure this.
Yeah, you do. And being on the rail here is not where you want to be. And Bouchero's Dude is the winner of this race, who just set a really, really convincing middle move here, which is what you're supposed to do on the Tapeta. Just take that commanding move. And Iron Sword here moves up a lot, especially with second-time starters. Jose D'Angelo is just so much better with second-time starters than he is with firsters, so I think that that's a good sign.
That's the other big point, too. 23% with second-time starters. The post here is beautiful, and the drop is going to play as well. We just switched our second and third at Test Station. Billy Thorino's starting to get going a little bit. He's up to 2 wins now, and what can you tell me about this horse? We got a stat, too.
Yeah, we do, and we'll take a look at it here. This colt, I don't like the rail by any means, but I do like the fact that he's got figures that fit. And look at this, first off trainer switch on the Tapeta, a move that I can imagine happens quite a bit for trainer Bill Thorinos, especially being just a Woodbine staple, but 22%. Not a big in the money. It's like they win or they don't at all.
That's a good point. Yep, no doubt about it, and that's not bad. So just one other horse in the money there. Stable agent for Cassie and DJ, well drawn, seems to be moving up slowly, but is a player as well. Okay, 3 down, 6 to go on this Wednesday 9-pack for you. Fountain of Youth Week. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Stay tuned, though. When we come back, Ron's got the Rainbow 6 ticket at $400,000 in the estimated jackpot.
And they're off.
Win big with new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access past performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian and Samantha with you. Another beautiful Wednesday here in Hollandale Beach. We hope to see you out here. It's been a busy, going to be a busy week, of course, with the Fountain of Youth on Saturday. But Rainbow 6 going to pay out on Sunday now. Mandatory Sunday. PPs have already been drawn. But let's take a look at Ronnie's ticket today on a somewhat tricky sequence here. We are off the turf today. 57.60. No single for Ron.
No, and it's one of those sequences, I feel like, Brian. Race 5, it's a big spread race. It is for me as well. Race number 6, just too deep. The 4, Fontina off the layoff, and Southern Palace for Safi Joseph. Race number 7, he's got the 5 down in the Bayou, and the 7, Peggy Sue, I Love You. Race number 8, the 2 main players, it's KC Chief and Tidal Forces. And in race number 9, He's got Modica, 2 beers by 10. I hope that's PM, not AM, and Khabib for 57.60. What? That's you before AM, 10 a.m.
Beer. No. 57.60. And again, 400,000 today, mandatory regardless of what happens the next 4 days on Sunday. Let's get back to race number 4, which kicks it off. We're on the Tapeta here at a $170, 17.5 maiden claimers, 3-year-old fillies go at it. And there's 3 people in the world that played Dixie Escape last time. It was you, the Racing Form, and Roddy Valente, because it was unfathomable that this horse was 47-1. We'll show it to you.
Yeah, this horse was just crying out for more distance, and she was able to get it. It was a huge race this day. This kicked off, or this was Pegasus week, and look at her just looping the field here. She came quite literally from the clouds, and she was on the move, and credit to her and her connections, because that was her second start off the claim, and she was widest of all and got it done, like you said, at a huge price. Now, Brian, looking back on this race, figure-wise, she's got to take a step forward here in order to beat a group like this. But I like the way she did it. I don't think that – I'm hoping she's not as far back as she was last time out, and maybe we'll double up today.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't really believe in it at all, but that's what you see on the Tapeta, and you saw her rallying down the crown of the track, which is the path to victory. She certainly isn't facing the saltiest group of winners. That is to be sure. Great shot. She got a spin against winners last time, and to me that was the big deal. She ran okay. She'll have to run better. Vino Limon is entered on the turf, I think, Friday, so maybe just keep that in your bag. Zozu Kara is one of the ones in here.
Yes, big time.
And then what about the one, Creval Royale? You have her a little further down. That's a big Tapeta race at Woodbine back in October.
It was at Woodbine, and it was going 6 furlongs, so we'll see if she can bring it back. She tried winners at Tampa last time on the grass and just ran okay. Yeah,
we'll see.
They better, and she beat half the field, so that's a good sign.
And it's Cassie and Dylan Davis, and they're going to bet her, and that's a big figure at Woodbine too. So we'll see if she takes to a route down here. Late pick 5. In race number 5, we are off the turf today. This will go to a mile and 70 on the Tapeta. It's a $50,000 maiden claimer here for the 3-year-old fillies. We do have a scratch of the 5, and that's Beaches and Pearls for Brendan Walsh. We'll take a look at Samantha's late 5 ticket, and we'll get back into this one now.
Yeah, and kicking it off with a spread race here, race number 6. I do have the 1 on top, that's Zena Swift. Race number 7, I do have the 5 on top, that's Down in the Bayou. Race 8, this is my best bet of Tidal Forces. I didn't feel like using the 4 KC Chief and Tidal Forces, it doesn't do anybody any good to double the ticket, so I'm just going to go down with that guy. And in race number 9, I do have the 8 on top. That is Khabib on the finally a class drop and a gelding, $36.
All right, there we go. And again, the rainbow at 400 today. This is a tricky sequence all around. Let's start it in race 5. You're 4 deep, and I was myself. Super amusing. We had the replay keyed up on the turf. We're not going to show it, but this horse really ran well, just basically did everything but win.
Yeah. Well, you could have showed it anyway, but that's kind of the point of it, of this filly, is she runs really well, but she's yet to find the winner's circle. So that's can be a little bit tough. The maiden race she's exiting, she set on the Tapeta, at least 2 starts back, she set the pace and then faded. I'm not in love with her today. I'm spreading. I don't have a strong opinion in this race.
No, that Tapeta race kind of bummed me out a little bit. You're clear and deep stretch. You'd like to think you can see it out. I left everything intact. The 7 added touch is a complete unknown on the Tapeta, but she has got to love, finally, the class relief she gets today.
Well, that's so key here, but the lack of speed really bothers me, but I guess the last time she just was kind of galloped in. There wasn't really anything to do there, so blinkers go on maybe.
They tried her 4 times in a maiden special weight, and that is not what she is, to be sure. Unbounded Movement is a big threat in here on the surface switch now, because we have proven Tapeta form and added Lasix last time. Really moved up.
Yeah, definitely moved up. Now first off the claim for a barn that does really well with this move. I'm glad you have the 8 in there because this horse I put, if this moves to the Tapeta, is a must use.
Absolutely.
The Tapeta race 2 starts back was really good.
Yeah, Lush Lips might win stakes for Brendan Walsh, and she was 4th that day, 108 to 1. You're not going to see that now because that's the big race showing in the PPs. Blinkers off, Lasix on today. Late pick 4 kicks off in race 6. We're 7 furlongs. It is a fast main track today. These are fillies and mares 4 and up, which have never won 2 races. Scratch the 3. Princess Miss Emile, as well as the 5, My Happy Holiday. That didn't affect me or my late pick 4 ticket at all, and we'll show it to you now. I've got a $16 late 4 ticket. Southern Palace, too much racehorse for me here. We've got the single, race 7. I've got the 5 down in the Bayou on top, race number 8. The 8 is on top in there for me, and I'm going to go Title Forces. That's a fun race with KC Chief somehow back on the beam again. And in race number 9, again, off the turf in a good finale, unfortunately. Monet Never, I left on top. He was my long shot today. I'm not going to give him that label on the Tapeta, but I will leave him on top in there. It's a $16 late pick 4 ticket. Let's get back interested to see what you got going on here, because I didn't really feel like there's much in here. Okay, you're going to go to the 1, Xena Swift. It's got speed. This Owens barn, I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about Steve Owens. Come down here, been very live all winter from Woodbine.
Yep, very, very live. And now we'll cut back a furlong from the rail. This filly is no choice but to go again, and Jorge Ruiz went last time. I don't think that she'll maybe... I like the distance for her here today. I don't want to see her too burn out on the front end because you could pay the price for that later at that 7 furlong distance. But unfortunately, from the rail, she might have to.
Puckered was somehow like odds on in that race. If you're coming out of a puckered race, you're not really for me. But I get the speed here, and that is important. Southern Palace is off to claim a reclaim for Safi back on the main track. Just probably better than these. But listen, she's no win machine either.
No, she's not, and she has been this mile in the 16th distance. And who beat her? Puckered.
Yeah, Jayana is interesting. They keep trying different things with her. You've tried her. I've tried her. Her only win is on in her debut.
It was, but the 1 mile race back in July. Now that was in the summertime, so the quality of racing is really not that great, but this race is really not that great either. So I like this 7 furlong distance for her. She can maybe sit right on the heels of the 1, Xena Swift, and maybe work out a winning trip. Yeah,
this is I think your points are very, very accurate, to be sure. Late pick 3 now in race number 7. We'll go 5.5 on the Tapeta. This one's clean. It's an $8,000 2L for the fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. We're both on the same horse, and that is Down in the Bayou. We'll show you the race because Down in the Bayou beat Vanishing Wish and Ave Phoenix as well. She's going to be a little further back, but this was a pretty good effort. I know she was favored. I get all that, but this was a pretty solid effort.
I thought so too. And what's good about her today is she's drawn to the outside of Vanishing Wish, a Jurassic Chick. I picked her, Friday she's back in again. I picked her. This was actually a pretty fast race for the level, which is a good sign here. And Vanishing Wish ran well. I don't want to take anything away from her, but when you want to be where the 7 is, not where Down in the Bayou is right now.
I agree, and I would expect IRAD to put her in the race earlier on today. She entered that spot off a route race, so she kind of got kind of punched in the face a little bit, I think, early on, and that's probably why she was leaving herself with too much to do in the lane. We talked about Vanishing Wish already. The oddball maybe is I Love Venezuela. It was a very, very slow race, but she did run second, and she's got a nice post and speed as well. Yeah, she does. Tactical speed.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that she's won. It's good that Edwin was able to get aboard her and kind of check her out last time, and maybe, like you said, we'll have a better go of it this time around.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with Ray Yanez, he's pretty sharp, and like you said, it's good that Edwin was aboard for the spin last time. This is a very, very crafty barn that wins races here. We just haven't seen him in a little bit. Race number 8 is on the Tapeta. It's a starter optional claimer here for the 4-year-olds and up. It's another clean one, an 8-pack here. And I'm not going to tell you it's a match race, but the 8 and the 4 do tower over this field. Let's start with your top pick and my top pick. It only took a group of salty Tapeta Stakes veterans to end the 3 for 3 on the Tapeta for Title Force.
Yeah, well, Tidal Forces to me, the race 2 starts back is such a good effort, and that was with Irad. Irad's going to get aboard here today. I like this post position for him. It was just that race was so tough last time.
Oh, yeah, he's not that kind of horse, but to be fair, he didn't embarrass himself
Not
either.
at all, no. He ran actually okay against really stakes company.
Yeah, and he didn't break that day either. He really put himself behind the 8 ball, so to me, he's clearly the horse to beat. With that being said, we're going to show you. I have no idea why this happened or where this happened from, because KC Chief, point blank, was drastically off form, and he found it and then some in this spot. He got nagged the entire way here and just rebroke and took off in the stretch.
Yeah, this was an interesting race because KC Chief is a horse that he kind of needs an easy lead in order to win, I feel like, Brian.
Yeah.
And he didn't get an easy lead here, but yet was still able to win. And his form had been not great in his last 2 starts, so I don't really get where this kind of rounded back in, and I don't particularly trust him coming back.
Yes, and yes. Now, to give him credit, though, this horse that is dueling on his outside, and the horse on the outside, that's where you want to be.
Yes.
You don't want to be where KC Chief is. That horse finished 5th, so he ran off in the lane. If he's going to do that again, he's going to be tough. There are other speeds in here to nag him again, and that really does set it up for Title Force. You've got the 1 in the mix. Morgan Point, you had him 2 back. I mean, he's a very talented horse. Tapeta today, I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe they're just trying something. And,
sure.
Well, actually, you think about, I guess now that this just kind of came to me. There's not a lot of places to run a mile in a 16th, and they want that distance for him. He's only been on the Tapeta 1 other time, so I don't know. But while he looks flattered a lot by that race, he's exiting out of Alexander Helios winning the Razorback
at Oaklawn for a big number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the Rombauer's little brother there. So he is getting a big class drop today. Title Forces and KC Chief and all. Morgan Point, a nice post as well.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up in the finale. Unfortunately, it's off the turf here. It's a 4-year-old and up, $35,000 2L. We scratched the 1 old flag in the 7 joint resolution as well. We've got the exacta swapped here. I left everything intact. You talk about the 8. This is a seismic drop for Khatib. And he's going to be a first-time gelding too. Yes,
he is, and I've had in my notes since last January that he needs to be in a claiming price.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
not a gelding.
Well, that too. I mean, that
was
helps.
2 Januaries ago.
Yeah,
you put that in
yeah, exactly. So we're getting improvement now. He's one that he's very sneaky because you think when you watch his races he gets himself into trouble. No, he just is a cheap horse.
Yeah, he's just not that great.
Yeah, he's just not that great. So I wouldn't take too short of a price on him, but he, to me, looks like the one to beat the Tapeta races. He's got a win on the Tapeta, but that was at Turfway Park.
Yeah, but, when you break your maiden at Turfway in a maiden special weight, that's a good group up there.
I agree.
They have good, winter Tapeta racing.
Yeah.
So I think the race still clearly goes through him. I had my long shot in here. Monet never scratched last week on a sprint to run long. Now, I wanted him on turf. The Tapeta race 2 back wasn't pretty, but it wasn't bad either. It was off a layoff that was 14 months.
And it seemed like they probably just wanted to get the race under his
Absolutely.
belt. So now you're first off the claim for the Carlos Perez barn, which don't let the 0 for 4 off the claim fool you, because this is a barn that's done some good work. And blinkers come off today.
Yeah, very crafty barn, and usually with a Barrio stable like they have with Morgan Point. But this is a solid barn, and make sure you pay attention here. Modica certainly in the mix on a drop for George Weaver too. Going to try the Tapeta and only been over it once.
Yeah, I like this move, especially because To me, the best race on the page, I know that there were some higher buyer figure races for him, was on the Tapeta.
Yeah.
I don't like him too much for the grass. I think that he runs in decent races and he kind of looks better than he is on paper.
Yeah, his lack of speed is going to probably be his undoing, and that's one of the reasons why he's 1 for 15. 'Cause good card today, unfortunately off the turf, but a fast main track. We'll take a look at the lightning round here before we send it up to Pete. And standings, we'll start it off here each and every Wednesday, and not a lot has changed. I'm interested to see what's going on underneath, though, because that battle is pretty good. There you see it there. Those three guys will vie for second and third in the standings.
Edgar Zayas he's been staying local and just riding so well. There's not enough good things we could say about him lately. So congrats to him and Misael as well. Look at them hanging on.
Yep, and of course Edgardo Pilot, Burnham Square in the Fountain
Yep.
Youth on Saturday, and the trainer standings. Safi is down the road as well, but second and third, and Todd Pletcher poised for a big week here.
Yeah, he's loaded with a lot of live horses, and it's going to be exciting to get into those races. But first, we'll deal with today.
Yep, Speakeasy and Mindframe on the comeback on Saturday. Be cool to see them. But Sunday, mandatory day on Sunday. We're at 400,000 today. Obviously, we have 4 racing days to get through.
Yes.
If we do, it'll be another massive pool on Sunday.
Yeah, it really will. They're going to send it in all weekend long here. It's just such a big weekend of racing, and of course the beast of a card that is Saturday, Fountain of Youth Day. So make sure to join us on Sunday.
Yep, to be sure. And speaking of Fountain of Youth, that is Saturday, and here you go. It looks like Solid Left is very likely going to run on Thursday in what is a tremendous allowance race that'll steer horses to the Curlin Florida Derby.
Yeah. Well, McKellen and him both, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is a really good race.
It is. Very, very good. Exciting race
Yes.
as well. River Thames undefeated. Burnham Square undefeated at this track. Sovereignty was so good at Churchill. This is just such a fun race.
Gate to wire, trying the dirt for the Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher last time. Looked like a new horse.
Yeah, ran off the screen. Neokos was a good thing, a good Florida bred that kind of stubbed his toe a bit. Now he's back in good form. This is just a fun field, Brian.
Yeah, and we'll figure out a lot more about River Thames on Saturday as he tries 2 turns and stakes company off basically two laughers.
Yeah,
Todd Pletcher.
Absolutely, yep.
Really impressive. Hot dog. This
is our favorite day of the week, Winter
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Is. Winter Wednesday here. Bet $10 and get a free hot dog. It's as simple as that.
It's so easy to do.
Yeah.
And these hot dogs are worth every bit of $10.
They're tremendous.
They're great hot dogs.
We're getting them a little bit later. Ron pushed me out of the way last week.
He did,
yeah. To get his hot dog. I guess we have no long shots today, so your best bet?
It is Tidal Forces for me.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yep. He's going to be tough in that Tapeta race a little bit later on. I'm earlier on the Tapeta with Jose D'Angelo and Iron Sword in race number 3 on a bit of a class drop. So that's it for her and I. Ronnie coming out for the opener. You're going to be bopping around today, right?
Yes.
So just be Ron and I today, and I know it'll be Pete upstairs with your scratches and changes. It's Fountain of Youth Week, my favorite, and we're happy to have you aboard here at beautiful Gulfstream Park.